If you enjoy a character-driven story with magical realism that gets under your skin and is something that will stick with you and that you will remember, then this is certainly a book for you, specifically this antagonist, because I found him very intriguing. He uses them to kind of crush your soul a little bit. I figured I would start this next reading vlog since I started Warm Hands of Ghosts by Katherine Arden last night. I think I am 60 pages in, give or take, and it's good. I like it. It is about a girl, a nurse, and her brother, a soldier, back in 1918 during the war. And she gets injured while overseas and gets sent home to recover, and then her brother goes missing and they presume him dead. And then she starts receiving all these signs saying that he is not dead. I really like Katherine Arden's writing. I think that she has a very straightforward approach. Her prose isn't too flowery or anything like that, but she's really good at her character work. So really all I have to say for now, like I said, I'm only 60 pages in, but I will fill you in the more I read. The book's only like 300 and some pages, not very long, so I don't think it'll take me very long to read it. It's a beautiful day. It's like 80 degrees today, sunny, and well, maybe we'll go up to the pool and read for a bit. This is a reading vlog check-in. I am within 100 pages of finishing Warm Hands of Ghosts, and I think it is fantastic. I think that her writing is so lovely and enchanting. She's basically turned this idea of these characters into a representation of what the war meant to so many. I'll go into more detail on that in my final thoughts, but I just wanted to mention that the way she kind of manifested these characters and how they are symbols for so much more. I'm really just kind of in awe at what she's done. It's really great. Not only that, but the characters themselves are so lovely. They're like a song, the music and the words, how they just work together so well, and to create this emotion and this experience. Well, that's what these characters do for me. The relationships between them are so realistic and so easy. They don't feel forced. They feel so natural and I love them. I think that they are so well realized and so well done. I would say particularly the main character, because she is she gets the majority of the time on the page. So, she's had more opportunity, but she's flawed and she is emotive, and it doesn't feel fake. She feels so real. She just jumps off the page. Anyway, that's my little quick check-in. I'm almost done. Like I said, less than 100 pages, and I will certainly be doing a book review for this one at the end of this vlog. So stay tuned. Oh, pool days. It's 70 something today, but it's 80 yesterday. But it's, like I said, very windy, so pretty. Hi guys, so I'm back again in another different spot with a new setup, and hoping that my mic works this time so that maybe you can actually hear me and it doesn't sound like I'm talking through water or something. I wanted to wrap up Warm Hands of Ghosts by Katherine Arden. I finished this last night, and I was actually pretty blown away by how much I really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. And so I know I kind of talked briefly about this in my prior little reading vlog clips, but this is a historical fiction and it has a very character-driven plot, and it just has like a splash of fantasy in the magical realism elements that it brings in. So if you like those things, this certainly could be a book for you. It takes place in 1917 and 1918 during World War I. It follows a brother and a sister, Laura, and what is the brother's name again? Freddie. Laura and Freddie. And Laura is a nurse and Freddie is a soldier. And so Laura ends up getting injured and sent home, and Freddie ends up getting a package, and it leads her to believe that her brother has died. She just can't believe it. And so this is her search to find him. It incorporates ghosts and another fantastical being in her search. Arden really weaves this magical tale together with the fantastical elements, which enables her to examine war in a new light. So she really plays with the boundaries and perspectives on what are enemies and what are friends. She explores the ties that bind us and the shape of the bonds that are forged in the shadow of like the formidable power that is war. There is like I said, a fantastical being. He is a devil of sorts. He seeks memories as payment. And in doing this, what she really does well is she takes a look at death and misery and suffering in this like kind of stunning way, because she articulates these ideas and gives them a face and a name with this supernatural being. So she takes all of those aspects which are inherent in war and it manifests them in this character, in one man who on the outside seems warm and inviting, but he's much more evil. We'll just leave it at that. And I know that I mentioned briefly her character work and the fact that she really capably and lyrically writes her characters and their relationships that they have with one another. And they do literally feel like a song. They feel lyrical. They're so fluid and full of emotion. They feel natural and real, and they absolutely have the ability to kind of lift you up and make you feel happy and all those things that like friendships and bonds make you feel. But at the same time, she uses them to kind of crush your soul a little bit. and also the name Warm Hands of Ghosts, she does throughout the story make reference almost on every page to hands, and she really instills them as like a symbolic reminder of like strength and power and protection and all these things. And I thought that was really well done. And at first you maybe don't even notice it. It's just kind of because people's hands are something that is not uncommon to be found in a story, but she does it in such a way that it's very symbolic and well done. So talking about problematic things in this book, I really didn't have any issues I didn't find anything really problematic. The only thing that I would mention is that she really just kind of tosses you into this setting, and she only really provides the bare essentials, like the date and the location, but she never really specifies like the particulars of the war or the politics or who's involved or what the conflict is about. So all of that is kind of, she just assumes and expects the reader to extrapolate that on their own, which I was fine with. But, you know, some other people may find it beneficial to do a little bit of research just so they kind of understand the bearings of the setting. My overall thoughts. I thought that this was a beautiful novel, that it really discusses the price extracted upon people involved in war. Obviously, there's scars that are going to be left behind that are going to be permanent from these like horrific events that they have to bear. But it also highlights the bonds that are formed in such extreme circumstances. You know, it's kind of not so hard to believe and so unexpected that even someone who is meant to be your enemy, if you are put in a situation where you have to rely on each other for survival, that a bond is going to form. I thought that was really well done. I think that all of her characters are very dynamic and they have a great focus. They have very distinctive details, their scars, their mannerisms, their virtues. They're all very specific to each one. And it's not written in an in-your-face kind of way. It all feels very natural. They are revealed in subtle ways that you pick up without like having to swallow a pill, you know what I'm saying? However, there is one character who I thought really stood out to me. She is kind of a side character, sort of. And her name is Pym. And on the surface, she's this very like meek and sweet and proper person who's also suffering because she has lost her son. But throughout the story, as it progresses, you can see her evolution a little bit. And she's like this ferocious little mouse. And she even kind of mentions that and references that in the story, in the book. And I found her very unexpected and I really enjoyed her a lot. My final thoughts. So, while yes, this is another historical fiction that is in war, like a wartime historical fiction, but I found it to be really fresh and magical and more focused, like I said, on the stories, the characters, and the bonds, like the mental cost of war. And I would certainly recommend this book to fans of magical realism and people who really love character-driven stories that aren't afraid of heavy topics. But I don't feel like this book felt heavy. Like, it certainly delves into heavy topics, but I felt like she delivered them in a really captivating way that just allows you to kind of reimagine the weight and force of the setting of war. There were like two quotes that I wanted to just mention briefly because I thought that they were really, really beautiful. This first one is the brother, and it's early in the book, so it's not a spoiler, but he is speaking to the German man who is meant to be his enemy, that they are trapped together. Stupid camera stopped recording. So anyway, so it's the brother, and he is trapped with a German soldier, and they are fighting to survive. And this is what he says. "I won't let you die," Freddie said. It was a vow he'd written in another man's blood, and now it was all that he had left in the world. I just thought that was very, very beautiful and just a great example of these topics that she broaches. The other one is further in the story, but I thought that it was kind of beautiful and relatable. It says, "It was the poet's alchemy to seize the intangible or unspeakable and drag it, real, into the living world." I think that's just Arden's appeal. She has a very poetic and lyrical writing style. I just very much enjoyed this book, and I highly recommend it if this type of genre speaks to you. It was very, very good. Highly recommend. So that's gonna wrap it up. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've read this book. you know, let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy her writing? Was there anything specifically that stood out to you about this antagonist? Because I found him very intriguing, actually. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon.